in front of this church, which is called the Holy Sepulchre Church. This is a very old building. We have a connection to this church as Muslims, but we don't have a connection to the story. We believe that Nabi Isa alayhi salam, according to our aqidah, according to our faith, he wasn't crucified. Allah said that. Allah said in the Qur'an, وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ. No one killed him, no one crucified him, but that's what they saw. Someone was crucified, but it wasn't Nabi Isa alayhi salam. That's what Allah said. And we believe that the Qur'an is true, and that's the words of Allah Azza wa Jal. So we don't believe that Nabi Isa was crucified. And regarding the ascension of Nabi Isa, Allah Azza wa Jal told Nabi Isa as well in the Qur'an, Ya Isa, inni mutawaffika wa rafi'uka ilay. Oh Isa, I'm gonna let you die, and I'm gonna lift you up to me. Means that no one killed him and no one crucified him. Also, that's the words of Allah Azza wa Jal. Ya Isa, inni mutawaffika wa rafi'uka ilay. So Allah Azza wa Jal let Nabi Isa sleep or die, and he left him up to him. So Nabi Isa is staying somewhere next to Allah Azza wa Jal, and he will come again, Akhir al-Zaman, at the end of days, and he will sit peace here for 40 years. That's according to our faith. Now, I'm going to tell you Christian tradition. So the Christians believe that Nabi Isa was crucified. Under that grey dome, there is a rock called Golgotha. Golgotha in Aramaic means a skull, and it looks like a skull of a human being. And that's the place where they used to crucify people. And who crucified him? The Romans. But who convince and insist that Isa should be crucified? Jesus Christ. The Jewish rabbis, they are the ones that they handle him to the Romans to crucify him. So the Romans, they are the ones that they crucified people. The Jewish people, if they want to kill someone, they stoned him, rajm, they stoned him to death. That's the way. So according to the Christianity, Jesus Christ was crucified in this place. That was Friday, such like today, afternoon, and he died on the cross. They take him down from the cross. It's a long story. I'm not going to tell you the whole Christian story in details, but I'm going to tell that he was crucified here according to the Christianity. They took him down from the cross, and they buried him inside the grave that it's also under the roof and under the building that you see in front of you. So all of it, crucifixion and the grave, the tomb, it's in this place. Only for 3 days. And then Sunday morning, when they came to search for the body, they found that he was risen. And the angel, the malaika, the angel of God, appeared to the Marys and told them that the one that you are looking for, he has risen and he's not here anymore. So it's an empty tomb. Even for the Christians, they believe that this was the grave of the Christ for 3 days only. So it's empty. Now, what is the connection between us and this building? Umar ibn al-Khattab. Did you hear about Umar? Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab, the second Khalifa. He came to Jerusalem. They sieged Jerusalem at the 6th century, during the Byzantine period, when the Christians, they were controlling the city. They put a siege. The Muslims army or the troops, they sieged Jerusalem for a few months. And the Patriarch of Jerusalem has a dream. The dream representing and describing the leader of the Muslims. And he said, of a tall man, a black man. And he told the soldiers, if you see that commander, that leader for the Muslims, don't fight. Tell me, we don't have to fight him. So the first time, it wasn't Omar. So they sent a message to Omar, to Medina, and Omar came with his camel and his servant, imagine, from Medina to Masjid al-Aqsa, 2,000 kilometers almost. And he came here, and he met the Patriarch of Jerusalem, and he gave him the keys of the city. Welcome. This is the keys of Jerusalem, without fight. Then he invited him to come to this building. So Sayyidina Umar, he came to this place, and that was the time for the Salah. Could be Salat al-Zuhr. But before that, Umar, he had a peace agreement between the Muslims and the Christians. The peace agreement says, and named Al-Uhd Al-Umariyah, the peace agreement of Umar, that he gave the Christians peace for your churches, peace for your crosses, peace for your women, peace for your money, peace for your ill people. If somebody wants to stay in Jerusalem, you are most welcome, stay. If somebody doesn't want to stay, you can leave. But those that they want to stay, they need to pay jizya. They need to pay taxes. So that was the deal. After the deal, he invited him to come to the church, and that was the time for the salah for Umar. Umar wanted to pray, and the patriarch of the city, he said, pray inside the church. I already gave you my words that no one will destroy the church. So he was very smart, because he knew that after his death, they will build a maqam. And they said, oh, our Khalifa prayed here, so we will build a mosque here. So he took a stone and threw it in front of the church. And look there what we have today. That's the minaret. It's called the Mosque of Umar. Because later on, after his death, they built mosque and said this is the place where our Khalifa prayed, and built mosque of Umar in front of the church. The last thing, the key of the most holy place for the Christians, which is this church, it's controlled by Muslims. A Muslim guard comes every morning and opens the church at 4:30 in the morning and close it at 8:30 every day. Until today, we still have the honor to secure and guard this building since the time of Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, almost 1,000 years ago, until today. So usually we can find that person sit at the entrance of the church on a wooden bench, and that is the corner for the Muslims inside the church of the Holy Sepulchre. Now, if somebody wants to come and take a look to the church from inside, anybody interested? Anybody want to go and take a look? Somebody wants? Okay. So just to the entrance, I will show you a beautiful mosaic, and it tells the whole story. The crucifixion, the anointing, which is the place where they made the ghusl, you know, before the burial, and then the tomb at the entrance. We don't go deep inside the church. We don't want to waste much time, but at least we can look and see it and see that beautiful mosaic in front of us. And Mosque of Umar, by the way, you can take a photo from here because today is Jum'ah, it's Friday, and it's closed. Everyone go to the Mosque of Al-Aqsa. Okay, so let's take a look to the church and then we continue. This way. Okay, come closer, please. This way. Be careful. First of all, this is not the grave. This is not the tomb. This is the anointing stone. Look to the mosaic over there. First of all, we have the Golgotha. You see there is downstairs a skull. That is the meaning of Golgotha. So that's the place where he was crucified. Then they put him down on this rock to wash the body and put oil, olive oil and perfume like henna, you know, and kafan, the tomb. Then they took him to the grave, which is inside the other side of the church. So this mosaic tells you the whole story: crucifixion, anointing, and burial in the tomb. This rock, as you can see, people used to come and touch and put their things for barakah, blessing, okay? So it's only a tradition according to the Christianity. That is the Muslim guard that he used to sit here. Assalamu alaikum. So he is the Muslim guard that I mentioned, that he has the key of the church, and he used to open and close the church. And he's a Muslim, the one that he sit on the bench. Okay, so take a few pictures and we come back out to the. سعد صباحك عمي.
Can we have a picture?
كيف صحتك عمي؟ شو اخبارك؟ كيف صحتك؟ كيف امورك؟
Assalamu alaikum.
You can take a photo with him if you want.